Hey, Poms, what's up?
A bit of a headline, Rhea.
Oh, I always like a good headline. What are you reading there, Perry Pear?
I will not read this headline out loud, Rhea. It is purely
sensationalism, Perry Pear. I could see it. It says Perry is dead.
Funny? You think this is funny, Rhea?
You mean, who killed Perry Pear's ego? That would be a short investigation.
Right.
And they didn't even ask you for a quote, Perry Pear?
Missed opportunity.
Reports of my ripeness have been greatly exaggerated. Once again.
Oh, Perry Pear. You know, pears do have a reputation in terms of ripening from the inside out and kind of making it hard to press and make, Perry.
Yes, we are special, and as such should be treated as...
Little Perry Princess.
Right. But shall we just call this for what it is? And that is fake news.
Oh, boy, Perry Pear. Hey, we're going to start moving on, but I do want to say that this conversation is absolutely perfect.
Touche, Rhea.
For this here episode 475, because we're going to be with Phil Kester of 99 Pines. You're going to hear all what that means in terms of why 99 Pines, how it relates to the very spectacular spot called May Hill, and we'll be at the National Perry Pear Centre in the UK.
One of my favorite spots in Perryville.
Exactly, Perry Pear. So, Mr. Quince, shall we get on with the show?
Roger that.
Hello, my name is Rhea Wincaller, and I am the producer and cider MC of this weekly podcast, where we speak with makers, cider enthusiasts, and folks within the cider trade from around the world. That was, my friends, the Talking Palms, bringing us into episode 475 of a Cider Chat. You heard from Mr. Quince.
Pleasure.
The Medlars.
Hello.
And Perry Pear.
Yes, I am Perry Pear.
All talking about a recent, well, you might say, newspaper headline that was saying that Perry was dead. And we know, as Perry would say,
yes, that is fake news.
Exactly, Perry. It's just sensationalism, and it's the perfect kind of news to get the conversation going. So sometimes even weird news is...
good news.
That's right, Medlars. And for this week, as I was saying, it is perfect timing because we have audio snapshots from our recent tour to the National Perry Pear Centre, which is just south of the Malvern Hills. And again, there was a recent episode at the Malvern Hills, which is a beautiful trust area, and it is a lovely place to go hiking. We had a cider dinner there with James Forbes, but this week it's all about pears. And if you go back to that episode of James Forbes, you'll hear him talking about his Brut Perry, which was a rosé, and the fact that he, until that point, didn't know that there was a red flesh Perry pear. And believe it or not, at the National Perry Pear Centre, they have red flesh pears. Pretty cool stuff. So if you haven't been to the Pear Centre before, I'm hoping that this episode is going to really entice you to visit. It is volunteers that are running it. You're going to hear about that. And maybe this is your opportunity to get involved and keep Perry going up, both in the United Kingdom, where there are some fantastic cider makers, beautiful Perry pear trees, and of course, around the globe, because we do love Perry. It was one of the highlights of the recent Totally Cider Tour. And it was kind of an eye-opener for a lot of the folks on the tour to experience Perry like never before. And that is partly because Perry pear trees don't come easy. They live a really long time. You can have them upwards to like 350, 400 years old. But it takes a while to get there. And the actual varieties that are mainly grown out and about in Ciderville.
Perryville, Rhea, please.
Or Perryville. Are mainly eating pears, and they don't really translate in the bottle the same way Perry Pear varieties do. So you're in for a treat because you're going to be learning about also the fantastical names that they have for Perry Pears in the UK. And there'll even be a little contest, if you will, where Phil Kester was bringing our group through an exercise where he had all of us stand up and he would read out a name of a Perry pear, and we'd have to guess whether or not that was an actual name or not. And if you guessed wrong, you'd have to sit down, and the last person standing was able to take home a bottle of Perry. It was so well done. Phil is an amazing speaker. And again, you're going to be hearing audio snapshots for that tour. I'll tell you a little bit more as we roll out to that featured presentation. But in the meanwhile, I have a wee bit of news from out and about in Ciderville. Blossom time in the United Kingdom with cider and Perry in hand. Yep, there's going to be a Totally Cider Tour heading out April 27th through May 3rd. Reservations for this tour are going to be going live in late November, so just a couple days away. We're going to be hitting November, which means now is the time to get your name in the hat to get pre-release tickets to this tour. All patrons of Cider Chat via the Cider Chat Patreon page get first dibs. Then it goes out to folks who get their name on the wait list. And I'll tell you, the tour that I just led in August was unbelievable. I'm still riding high from it all. And thus, I wanted to return during Blossom Time because I think that is something that I want to experience with you. It's just going to be absolutely spectacular. And of course, we're going to be changing up a little bit, adding on some new folks to the tour so that it's always a new experience. So if you came before, you could always come again, right? I would love to see some of you on this tour. Send an email to info@ciderchat.com. Put in the subject Cider Tour. Let us know how many are in your party, and we'll get you on the early release for reservations. Blossom time in the United Kingdom.
Walking through the orchards.
All this talk about cider and Perry makes one thirsty, doesn't it? Which means, maybe it's time for you to go to a cider festival. And coming up on November 15th is the New York Cider Festival. And this is going to be taking place at City Winery. Again, November 15th. There are tickets for early admission. That's a VIP early entry at 11 a.m. And then it goes on till 3 o'clock. And New York has it going on with some cider. They really do. You have a magnificent state for apples in general, and then awesome people from all different kinds of regions around New York, a massive state, really honing in on their own specialty, both cider and Perry. So check it out, November 15th. I'll have a link in the show notes. This is being hosted by the New York Cider Association. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, I really want to recommend that you go to the Cider Going Up campaign page at ciderchat.com. So you go at the top bar and it says support, and you hit that little drop-down menu and you'll see Cider Going Up campaign. Click on that and you'll see this premier list of brands that are supporting Cider Chat via the Cider Going Up campaign. And you link into that by joining at the Cider Chat Patreon page. And that is a website that helps content creators like Cider Chat get a bit of revenue for a listener-supported podcast to stay on the air. And you might be thinking, is that really worth it? Is it worth my hard-earned money to get listed on a Cider Chat website or be mentioned on the podcast every once in a while as a supporter of Cider Chat? And I think the answer is yes, 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 yes. 10x yes. For instance, I just heard from my good friend Tom Heeman, who was on the Totally Cider Tour and is a supporter of Cider Chat via the Cider Going Up campaign for Heeman Cellars. This is an Ontario-based cidery in London, Ontario. And he and Susan Judd, his wife, are friends of mine. I've gotten to know them through Totally Cider Tours, and now they are supporting the podcast and have their name listed there. And just recently, like a couple days ago, Tom sent me a note that he received from a chef in Toronto who was saying he heard about Heman Cellars on Cider Chat, checked out some of the varieties that they have, their single varietal ciders, and has made an order. And this particular restaurant is called Aedalis, which in Latin means eat, which I love it. It's simple and just straight to the point. And they have at this restaurant what is called Cider House Luncheon on Cider Sundays. And they're featuring, I guess, Michael, I believe, might be from Spain, but they have a really deep appreciation for that Basque-style sidra that you could get in Spain and Asturias. He also is making cider. He showed me a little photo of his little cider house at his home with some barrels and different carboys. So he's got it going on there. And it just fills my heart. So if you thought you don't get seen on Cider Chat, that's kind of unheard of for me. But just know that, the world is big and bright and there's cool people connecting. The Heman Cellars is able to showcase their ciders at a Michelin star restaurant, which is a big deal, no doubt. I also heard that he has some of Ryan Monkman's cider. That's the Fieldbird cider, and probably more. Really showcasing Ontario's cider and doing that by pairing food. So again, if you're heading up to Canada or you're in that region of Toronto, go to the show notes for this here episode 475. I'll have a link to Aedalis, and you could start checking out if you could get reservations ahead of time. I just love hearing this connection because I love Heman Cellars. The products that are being made there are freaking fantastic. I know we're going to have a featured episode with Tom Heman and, of course, Ryan Monkman and so many great Ontario ciders. And the fact that we are seeing chefs really embrace it, not only at that level, but on a whole other level where they're also making it. I saw there is another couple who has a Paris restaurant and a cidery out in Normandy that I've started to follow. They're of Japanese descent. So, this is happening. It's a good time to be alive. It really is. I know there's a lot going on, but it's a good time to be alive. So check out that Cider Going Up campaign page at Cider Chat and become a member if you want to get in the line of sight for some magnificent food pairings, and join the likes of Ross on Wye Cider and Perry Company in the UK, Duck Chicken Cider based in London. We have Kanga Cider in Texas. Also, Bent Ladder Cider and Wine in Doylestown, Ohio. Press Then Press, which is an online cider shop, so you could get your favorite cider that you can't get anywhere else, probably at Press Then Press. We also have the American Cider Association, which is a trade organization for cider and perry producers in the United States. Oliver Cider and Perry, based in Oaklepitcher in Herefordshire. Locust Grove Cider and Brewery in Milton, New York, and Heman's Cellar in London, Ontario. And we have our most recent addition to the Cider Going Up campaign page, and that would be Raven's Moon Cidery, based on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. Check it all out at ciderchat.com, the Cider Going Up campaign page today. It's time now for our featured presentation called At the UK's National Perry Pear Centre and the Story Behind 99 Pines. You're going to be hearing from Phil Kester as he leads us about the center. We're taking a walk with him actually out into the orchard, so you'll hear a little bit of questions from the guest on the tour there. And then he'll be doing a presentation where we were back in the actual center, walking about, seeing the setup for their cider making, and 99 Pines having different bottles available for purchase, which in turn helps support the center. You're also going to be hearing about Charles Martell, who recognized that perry orchards across Gloucestershire were disappearing and began documenting the rare varieties, and how his work led to the first National Perry collection at Malvern Three Counties Showground. And that was in concert with our friend Tom Oliver of Oliver Cider and Perry Company. You also hear about Jim Chapman, who is not related to John Chapman, a.k.a. Johnny Appleseed, but I find it really interesting that you have Johnny Appleseed, John Chapman, who was all about cider apples and planting apples going across the U.S., and then you have Jim Chapman, who is a hero for Perry in that he gifted the land at the Hartpury, is the site where the National Perry Pear Centre is located, and it is home to over 100 Perry pear varieties. So without further ado, if you can, and you have it available, and I sure hope you do, grab a glass of Perry and join this chat with Phil Kester of 99 Pines at the National Perry Pear Centre in the United Kingdom.
Perry making in this area goes back hundreds of years, back to the 17th centuries, when we couldn't get hold of wine from France during the Napoleonic Wars, and this was a good area due to the soil construct to grow perry. So perry was made as a alternative to wine and champagne from France and was shipped down to London. And actually, I think champagne bottles originated from this area, from a village called Tainton, a couple of villages away. So there's a real heritage here in this area for perry. Charles Martell, who some of you may have heard of, realised that this was a perry country, that a lot of these perry trees were going, and was really interested to understand more about the different varieties. And he got really excited when he learned that there were around 100 different rare varieties grown by individual farmers and individual villages, etc., in this area, but was saddened that a lot of these old orchards were getting pulled out and were getting replaced, and they still are to this day. So he wanted to make a national collection and categorise them all. He did a lot of work to actually categorise and document all the different varieties in a similar way that the Wauchope Society did, a kind of like horticultural society back in 1870 something, I think. I may have got the dates wrong. And their record of it is behind you over there, the original copy of it, and then the replica, which is definitely worth a look at. Beautiful hand-drawn plates, etc., that were drawn. So he did a more modern version of this and a more sort of like easily usable version of this. And he planted the first National Perry collection in Malvern Three Counties Showground, along with Tom Oliver, you're bound to have seen this week at some stage, and some others, 35 years ago. Planted around 70 different rare varieties, and they're now 30 odd years old. And I'm lucky enough to have exclusive access to that orchard. Wow. Mm. Then, 10 years later, Jim Chapman, who lives next door here, heard about all of this, was lucky enough to come by this land through family, wasn't a farmer himself, and gifted it for the National Perry Collection Part 2. So this is tens and tens of acres. I'm not sure how many acres, I should know. A couple of fields that goes that way, one field behind us and two fields that go that way, plus a private collection in his garden, which is like a couple of fields long. So there's over 100 varieties here, Gloucestershire varieties, as well as some international varieties here as well. And these were planted around 20 years ago. And he also managed to get some national lottery money for these buildings. So the buildings, all national lottery money, this was all gifted by him. And he did a lot of the planting here over the last 20 or so years. I started making perry around here 10 years ago, started making it cider with a few dads from school. We made really shit cider. We did it all by hand. One of the dads at school was Phil Vickery, the head England captain of rugby, and he was the muscle behind it all. You know, we had someone else who was a plumber who did a lot of the plumbing work, and someone else who was, so we had all these different dads there who were just like mucking around making cider. After 2 years, most gave up because we left far too much room in it. We didn't really do much reading up on it. One thing leads to another, as they always do with this sort of stuff. And I made some different varieties there, got really into it. And then last year, the opportunity came up for me to move into here. I'm called 99 Pines because that's the number of pine trees on the top of May Hill, which is supposed to be the epicenter of English perry country, which is 2 miles that way. And now I'm in here, extremely lucky. It's owned by the Hartpury Heritage Trust. 99 Pines is a community interest company run by volunteers. No one's ever produced anywhere 100 different varieties of perry. So you will undoubtedly taste quite a few of these this week, but I would like to get to a stage where this is turned into a shop behind us. You open the door and there's 80 to 100 different varieties of Perry in there that you can learn from, understand from, etc. And that's why. So that's my aim, is to, one, get it into some local pubs and outlets locally to promote the Perry locally, do some things like this to promote it, and then have a collection here of not just the trees, but also the actual product that comes off the back of it. So that's what I'm aiming for over the next couple of years. So we'll have a little walk around the orchard. It's been a weird year this year. We've had, like last year, it was very damp in the spring. We had really low yield. This year, the opposite. We've had no rain, or almost no rain since March. And so these young trees are really struggling, some of them. Although there might be a lot of fruit on them, some of them look a bit sad, some of them look fine. Some of them are dropping early, some of them are not. So we'll have a little look around. There's usually 2 of each variety, and most of them are labelled. I'll take a map out there so we can see which ones are which.
How many varieties in total are here?
Over 100.
And how many varieties of Perry pears do they guesstimate there might be in the world?
I don't know. That's a good question.
14,000 and counting.
That's a good
for apples.
question.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's anywhere near
Nothing
that.
like that, of course.
No.
Yeah.
Because Perry's really kind of it's a forgotten, it's an really unknown drink. It's really hard to make. I'm not saying it because I'm a Perry maker, but it is harder than cider. It's much more susceptible to bacteria. The fruit is, some fruit could be on the tree on a Wednesday and rotten on a Saturday. You can't blend a lot of Perries. If you try and blend a Perry, it will turn into milk sometimes. Sometimes the higher tannin-y ones have a tannin sort of like, will come up with a tannin type brain in the bottom of it. There's a real craft to like Perry making, as there is cider making. And I've been doing it, probably Perry making, for like 7 years, and I'm still very much on a learning journey, like with them. So
we'll do a little bit of a walk.
Yeah, do a bit of a walk around.
Let's go look at the pears. We're walking out to the orchard right now. It's a little bit of a windy day. The pear trees are nicely separated, not a high fence. So you have a pretty low fence here.
Yeah.
No jumpers over, no deer problems or anything like that with the pears. They don't really go after the pears, do they?
No, I don't see that many deers around here, to be honest.
Interesting.
Jim has the cows in here, has a farmer. He likes Gloucestershire cattle in here, which are pretty rare as well. So he likes those in here, and he likes the trees, very distance planted between them.
And it's diagonal too, right? Not across.
Yeah.
So the first 2 here, that looks like 40 feet at least between here and here.
So this one here is what started Jim Chapman's interest, because this is a Hartpury green. So you're in Hartpury here, the village of Hartpury. And he's very much interested in the heritage of Hartpury. So this tree is called a Hartpury green. I produced a Perry for the first time this year, and it's lovely, really nice. Only a teeny bit, I think 20 litres. That's all I produced. But there's this tree, and then about 6 others on the hill over there as well. So I'm hoping to get a bit out of it this year. Quite small fruit. You can tell it's probably got another good month and a half on it yet, I think. I'll wait till it starts to fall first.
Yeah.
Now, am I seeing a graft line right down there at the bottom? Is that grafted?
Yeah.
And do you know what they are using as a rootstock?
I don't know the rootstock for that, no.
Or if they're all standard here in the orchard?
There's an orchard at the bottom, which is a trial orchard where they're grown really close together. But they're all different, like single varieties, but they're on different rootstocks. So there might be six of one rootstock and 6 of another rootstock. Perry pears also, they ripen from the inside out. They're very hard to work out whether they're ready or not. Some are really easy. You just squish them and they feel, yeah, they're definitely ready. Others stay hard all year round, and it's hard to know. You have to cut it open, see if the seeds are black, etc. They also, some of them, when they ripen from the inside, they blet. So they're like brown from the inside, and then so it's like you just got to get that sweet spot, of the exact sweet spot when it's ready. So sometimes you will pick them; they're not quite ready. Stick them in storage, pile them up in like open crates for a few weeks or even a few days. And I've picked some varieties where I picked 100 litres worth of one variety called a Green Horse last year. And I went to press it, and I reckon I left it 4 days too long. And I went to press it, and it just all turned into mush through the press and clogged up the whole press. And
dear.
So, yeah, it's quite
sad.
It's quite a challenge. Jim Chapman, who planted this, is very much of the belief that the best type of orchard is one that is separate planting, cattle between them, so grazing and fertilizing and what have you. And that's his kind of like ethos, and that's what he's done planted this. And a lot of the orchards you see, the old Perry orchards around here are like that. They are planted quite. There's grazing on this one. Yeah, there's cows. There's cows in this field somewhere at the moment. Yeah, these could grow to tens and tens of
giants.
Yeah, big giants.
100 years from now. So is the idea of all the pears here to exhibit, but to then produce some Perry to sell to kind of keep the center going?
Yeah, I think that's what we've got to work out now, to be honest. Is
have it be self-sustaining in that way.
Yeah. This was under a grant, so the grant for this is like running out now because it's a sustainable orchard. I think that's the next evolution is how do we do it commercially, but make enough so that we can promote Perry, but we can also use it as an income to support the centre.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the protection of the trees because we're standing next to this tree here, which is called this
is a funny one.
Beetroot Wickcourtella.
So this one's really interesting because, as the gentleman's already found out, it's called beetroot because it's a red flesh.
Wow, red flesh.
And it produces a red Perry for a few months anyway, and then it turns pretty normal colour. Unfortunately,
in the bottle.
Yeah.
Or just
and I actually tasted this variety last night. It doesn't actually taste anything special as a Perry, unfortunately. And this is purely to keep the sheep and the cows away.
The cows. So,
but you can see the ground is very clay because it's just so unstable.
Yes,
the ground's shrunk.
Not holding it. You don't have to worry about the sheep jumping up or anything. I mean, it's only about what is that like 4 feet high?
Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's keeping it back.
I think so.
They're kind of trained.
Yeah.
So interesting because I don't see any damage around the trees here.
No. I quite like some of the different shapes of the trees because I think this is a beautiful shape of a tree, whereas the branches are kind of like upwards and it's got this beautiful almost like Regency Gardens type sort of like feel to it. Whereas others are, more of a broader, that's a lovely kind of broader oak tree type. Like,
unusual.
Look at that one there. Yeah.
I mean, I normally think of pear trees as looking like a Christmas tree shape and an apple tree looking more round like an apple.
Yeah.
Which we could see over here in this one, that looks more like that Christmas tree shape.
Yeah.
But to be out here, you really have a broad reach of different styles. And I don't think that's variety dependent. It might just be because of how it was planted with that width or something.
Yeah.
Or how much pruning goes on out here?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
Not a lot.
Okay.
No.
All right.
We've had to do a bit this year because of the fire blight, but otherwise not a lot.
Yeah. We're getting a little bit of weather here. Maybe it's good to go in and do a little tasting.
Tasting sounds good, doesn't it?
Yep. Get out of the rain and go see how that all works in the glass because that's really the final
Your
piece.
Blakeney Red you talked about is a really common one around here.
Yeah.
It's also called a circus pear.
A circus pear.
Yeah, circus pear because it sometimes has quite a bit of sugars in it, non-fermentable sugar in it. Sorbitol, that's it.
Right.
Sorbitol in them. So the circus is what your stomach does. Goes round and round and round. And but it's a more common one around here, and you'll probably spot them if you get your eye, and then you can see them in the landscape because they've got these branches that just reach up to the sky, huge branches that just reach up to the sky.
So it's called Blakeney Red?
Blakeney Red, yeah. And Blakeney's in the Forest of Dean, and it's where they used to make millstones for the mills themselves to crush their fruit. Do you want me to show you the production very quickly first, and then we can do a tasting?
Go to the production area.
We use a speed or scratter, a really good quality scratter. You can just throw apples and pears straight in. We wash them first, put them in there, and then this is what comes out. And this has only been sat there for an hour and a bit, so it's gone really brown. On the more tanniny varieties, high in tannin varieties, we do tend to macerate, so we do tend to leave it overnight to get oxygen there, etc.
Leave it right in those.
We leave it in there. We will cover it up. We leave it in there. Get some oxygen in there. We think that sort of softens the tannins down a bit. So I probably won't do that with these today. Or after you've gone, I'll continue the press. We then use these presses, the bladder presses. Find these just so easy to use. 3 different sizes. We've got a 40-litre press. That's 40 litres of product that goes in. About 15 to 20 comes out. This one is a 90-litre. So, let's say 40 will come out of that in one press. And then we have the bigger one there, which is 170 litres. So you can get theoretically 90, 100 odd litres in one press. The smaller one's really great because what you do is you put this into this sack here, put a lid on, plug it into the water. There's a bladder in here. The water fills up the bladder and pushes the juice out of here into there. You can do a press. That little one, you can do a press in like 10 minutes, which is great. So you can get 15, 20 litres in 10 minutes, clean it up and then do it again. That one is a one-man job, really. You can do it yourself. And then it will go straight into a fermentation vessel, and I'll show you what they're like in here.
Okay, so this is a typical bladder press that we're looking at. Based on your space here and the mission, how long are you able to actually condition the Perry before it gets released?
I do about 6 months.
6 months, so it's a pretty quick turnover
It's
then.
pretty quick turnover, yeah. 6 months to a year. I'd like to be able to hold on to it for 12 months.
Yeah, of course.
And I think I will be able to do that.
Okay, eventually.
But at the moment, it's quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn around.
I suppose if you're selling it, you could encourage the person to hold the bottle for a bit and let it condition in the bottle. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So buy one now, try it, and then try it another.
Yeah.
Get it. Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Let me get some bottles out.
Looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, is that right?
That's fine.
Okay.
What order do you think is best to go?
I think we go early season first.
Okay.
Then maybe a Winnells Longdon, because there's a Winnells Longdon fan in here.
Are these all the same year?
Yeah, 2024.
Okay.
The very first UK, maybe international, I don't know, Perry competition is happening this year. It is happening at Three Counties Showground at Malvern, who do a big Perry area. They're big Perry advocates. They've got the first part of the National Perry collection there. This year, Albert has organised, Johnson from Ross-on-Wye has organised the first Perry competition this year. Now, because I pick from the National Perry collection at Malvern, and I'm one of the country's only specific Perry producers, I want to do well in this competition. So I need your help. Right. So there are different categories. I don't know which one of these is dry, which one of these is medium. I don't think any of them are sweet, but I will test that later. But I do need your help in scoring and let me know what you think tastes best. I haven't got all my range here, but I've got some of them here. I've also thrown one in that I think is a really interesting taste, just to show you the variety of the taste of Perry's. So for each of these Perry's, I would like you to write down the variety, and I'd like you to do some scores out of 5. 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. And I'd like you to give a score for the overall score and a score on acidity. Do you think it's really high in acidity? Do you think it's high in sweetness? And by sweetness, I mean sort of not necessarily sugar sweet, but, is it really fruity? And then tannins, are you getting those like high tannins in there? Is it making you, is it more acidic than tannin? So if it's high in tannins, a 5, if it's lower, 1, then an overall score. And then let me know which one's your favourite at the end. I'm going to start with an early season blend because this was picked about this time last year. What did I say about it? I says unknown variety from Kent's Green, and a Newbridge tree, so a Newbridge single variety tree at Tawney's Farm in Four Oaks. That's the 350-year-old farm, which I looked at yesterday, and the trees are doing amazing this year. Call it an early season. We would have done the pressing, what we said exactly as we said outside, put it straight into a container. We have added some very, very small micro doses of sulfites. I do that with all my Perry because Perry is a bastard, and I've tried it without, and I've ditched a good percentage of my Perry. So put that in there just to reduce the bad yeasts and the bacteria and just to control it a bit. And that's it. That's all we do. So then I would have left it to do its own thing until probably February, waited for a really cold day in early February when the yeast is like not in suspension, it's like dropped, transferred it to a new container, and then I would have left it until May, and then I bottled it in May with 5 grams of sugar. So I would have racked it then, so I'd have siphoned it into a new container at bottling time, added 5 grams of sugar to that, stirred it in, and then bottled straight off of that.
Are you adding sulfite at bottling?
Only at pressing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's got a good fizz, I think.
I think it's got good fizz. I'll just start with saying I like it. I find it very, very tasty, refreshing, and a little bit different from some of the Perrys that we've been having.
Is it?
In this tour, yeah. I mean, we were at Wilding Cider yesterday, and that's like a whole different experience. Somerset, different terroir.
Yeah.
But a nice finish. I like the balance in it.
It's all done in plastic at the moment or steel, so I don't do the barrels. A, I'm not mature to that yet. B, I'm a bit nervous of that, but just because you're putting 200 litres of products into a barrel that's hard to see if it's clean or not.
Right.
I'll get there one day. I've also tasted some stuff that's been done in some barrels, in whiskey barrels and rum barrels and stuff. Personally, I find that Perry's a light drink and has got enough beautiful flavours in it already, and I find some of the other flavours like really overpowering sometimes. I think it works really well with cider. When I've tasted it sometimes on Perry, I haven't thought it's worked that well. So I think it's a careful balance. Let's go for a Winnell's Longdon Perry. So this is a single variety Perry picked from the next village along called Maysmore. In Millennium Year, the farm planted 20 Winnell's Longdon trees in an avenue, and it's the easiest picking you'll ever do because you literally start at the top and you just work your way down this avenue. It's called Winnell's Longdon, so Winnals Longdon. From last year, single variety.
This one here is you have this like little green, and it has a green taste to it.
It does have a green taste to it, actually, doesn't it? Yeah. You can always taste there's a grass
Yeah,
sort of.
very.
That's interesting, isn't it? It's really clear as well. It's a beautiful, clear Perry Winnell's.
Yeah.
I mean, we do put that in with the huff cap to make a nice blend, but that's delicious. That's delicious on its own, I think.
Yeah,
Really
delicious.
crisp.
Yeah.
Super crisp.
I like to drink it in a year.
Yeah.
But because you could taste the youngness, that green.
I think I'm going to throw you now with something very different.
Oh, goody.
This is picked from Hartpury and Malvern. So what I've started to do is these like micro batches. So some of these are maybe just from like 10 litres or two demijohns or something. You may taste like licorice notes in here. This is called a high pear. 2 trees. Get your nose right into that, and I bet you've never smelt a Perry like that. But it's got quite a long, it's got quite a long note to it as well, isn't it? It's quite deep. This is the one that Museum of Cider said was off because it's really unusual and it's really unique.
Yeah, unique.
Now, another challenge with Perry is that they do have elements of sorbitol in them, which is unfermentable sugar, which can also be a laxative. So I'm telling you now, you're 3/4 way through them. Most of them are absolutely fine. There are a couple of varieties that are a bit more renowned than others. Why it's difficult for a cider maker and a Perry maker is that if you want to do what's called a pet nat and bottle it before it's finished fermenting, but at exactly the right point where it gives the right amount of carbon dioxide in the bottle, as a cider maker, it's fairly straightforward because you know that cider is going to ferment down to 0 or 1, basically. So you know at 112, whatever, that's the ideal point to, like, as it's come down from wherever it started, that's the ideal point. You know exactly how much sugar it's got left in you. You know exactly how much it's going to carbon dioxide it's going to produce. Therefore, you know exactly how much pressure is going to be in that bottle. With Perry, you don't know where it's going to stop. So it could stop at 1, or it could stop at 1. It could stop at 110, or it could stop at 1.5. So it's a real kind of like a little bit of experience and judgment really to work out if you do want to do a pet nat, which is your ultimate sort of like not minimal intervention, sort of like Perry 100% juice, then it's a little bit more of a craft, which is the stage I'm at trying to work out where that is. So everything you've tasted so far is bottle conditioned. So it's natural ferment, and then you add 5 grams of sugar at the end as you put it in the bottle. This is a pet nat. So this is one of my first forays into the world of pet nat on an old field. This comes from an old orchard about a mile away. Really old trees. The guy had never done anything with them. It's a late variety. Did I say November or something, maybe? Late October, November. It's probably quite sharp. Could probably benefit from a bit more aging, if I'm being honest, to really show it off. But hopefully very different from what you've just tasted. Well, it's definitely different from what you just tasted. It's got on the back of the throat taste, that, hasn't it? After taste. One more.
Sounds good.
This is 3 different varieties. An Arlingham squash, a pint pear, and a red pear. It's only called squash because it's quite squashy, apparently.
more finished.
More
there.
finished, yeah. That's an.
You see it right away.
It's just that. It's just that.
Yeah, it's just that little leap. Just time.
Yeah.
Time is your friend.
I'm gonna get one more.
Oh, another one. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit warm in there. It's not chilled.
Which one is this?
This is the National Perry Pear collection. Interesting little nose on that. I'm getting a little bit of egg on it.
Oh yeah. Don't tell me
You getting it? I know. Just a little on the nose. So light. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. That's good. That's a great bottle. Just cool it down a little bit.
Yeah, well, that needs to be chilled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
chilled. This is like pre-release. This is what we're releasing later this year. 75% Huff Cap. This is what we're releasing as the National Perry Collection.
That's delicious.
Let's raise our glass to both Phil, 99 Pines, the National Perry Pear Centre, and everybody who's put their heart and soul into this amazing organization. Thank you, Phil.
No, thank you very much for coming.
everyone.
It's been a pleasure to meet you all.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
We could do a very quick fun quiz.
Let's do it.
So, I'm going to stand here, and you're going to have to tell me, you're going to have to stand up first. Everyone stand up, please.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to have to tell me whether you think a name is a Perry pear or not a Perry pear.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Okay. And we'll see who's left standing. If you think it's the name of a Perry pear, you put your hand up.
Okay.
Right, okay. So, Green Longdon. If you think it's a Perry pear, stick your hand up. Right, sit down, everyone that's put their hand up. Right, okay.
Oh, he fooled us.
Let's have New York Red Cheek. Is a New York Red Cheek a pear or not a pear? Put your hand up if you think it is the name of a Perry pear. It is the name of a Perry pear. So that is it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. If this is your kind of fun, and I suspect if you've listened this far that it is, then I really highly recommend that you get an email to us today to info@ciderchat.com, put in the title Cider Tours, and get your name on the next pre-sale for the Totally Cider Tour heading out to the United Kingdom April 27th through May 3rd, smack in the middle of blossom time. Because I know I want to see those Perry pear trees, all different 100 varieties of them, in blossom as we can, or at least in the springtime, to just smell the ground and be in their presence. It really, truly was magnificent. And what about that Phil Kester? What a cool story. And I want to say, if this is your bag, if you enjoy Perry's and you want to hang out with somebody like Phil and the other volunteers there, be making Perry, helping support the center. I mean, let's face it, I have the most fun when I am doing something with my friends, not just sitting around, although we do that too, but really being in a project. It's a fun way to hang out with people. So volunteer today at the National Perry Pear Centre. Get involved with 99 Pines. There'll be contact info in the show notes at this here episode 475 of Cider Chat. And with that, I leave you here. This is Rhea Windcaller signing off for now. Looking forward to seeing you in Ciderville. Drink it like this. There is a reason why we do it like this. We like cider.
There is a reason why we do it like this. There's a reason why we drink it like this. There's a reason why we do it like this. Yeehaw!